Well.
I am well.
Well. Welcome to Course in Miracles. Welcome on Facebook Live. I'm Earl Purdy, and I want to hear some truth. I want to have peace. That's what the purpose of this is. Does anybody else want to have some peace with me today?
Yes, please.
So we got plenty of people online that want to have peace with us too. So I want to ask you just a minute to just close your eyes and let's take a moment to get centered. We're going to be on page 108. The section is called Be Vigilant for God and God's Kingdom, which is the same as saying, be vigilant for love and its creation. Be vigilant for love, be vigilant for love's creation. So we got to be vigilant for the truth. Okay, until I can find out what's going on. Be right back. One of those days, just one of those days, where my ego is trying to test it, me to see if I can look at it another way. And I will, because I've learned if it ain't one thing, it's another. And so there's no magical point that you're on the earth and it doesn't come up. Things that don't come up that might be different from the way that you prefer for them to be. You know, and you find that most people are studying the truth because they actually think that's going to happen. They really think they're going to be here and they're going to be like, nothing that happens upsets me or bothers me at all without going through having your stuff come up that you have to see differently so that you can have peace all the time. It's like a part of the mind is tempted to think that because I'm ready to do something and because I hear about it or read about it, then it means that I should be able to get the results of it immediately. You know, and so this section is such a powerful section, and I'm not surprised that there will be a smaller group on the day that the title is Be Vigilant Only for God. Be vigilant only for God and His kingdom, because the Course in Miracles says that the world is the denial of God. That this it's like sort of like going, would you like to see what happens when we deny God? What would happen when we deny love? What would happen when we deny the truth? He says what happens when you do that is that you end up in a world where there's a lot of fear and conflict broken into by periods in which people think it's gone. And so we want to get completely free of anger, guilt, grievances, and fear. So this section is about being vigilant for God, being vigilant for my Creator, being vigilant for the truth. That's what and so the first sentence in that says, we said before that the Holy Spirit is evaluative, which I think is interesting, saying that the Spirit in us, the truth in us, is very evaluative. So Spirit would be evaluative. Spirit in you, it has the capacity to evaluate what's going on. Love is evaluative. And the Course says the Holy Spirit is the voice for God inside of us. It's the voice for truth inside of us. The Course in Miracles has its own definition for all the terms that it uses. So the Holy Spirit, which the Course also defines as our sane mind. And yes, Penelope, we do have one. we do have an absolutely, totally, and completely sane mind. And then the Course says we have a totally insane mind. We have a mind that knows the truth and knows we're all connected and knows that we're one. And then we have another part of our mind that thinks we're separate, different, apart, bodies, good, bad, that we die, that we can go through pain, or suffering, or challenges. I like to always say the part of us that has a social security number, in case you want to just kind of discern who that is. And so it says, what does the Holy Spirit do? Okay, what is the voice for God in us? It's funny, I realized that I'm teaching a book that's on spiritual awakening, and sometimes the thing I can make myself feel the most self-conscious about saying is the word God. Mm-hmm. It's kind of ridiculous, but the Course in Miracles usually attracts so many people who were the way I was in the beginning. They got really, really fearful, distorted perceptions of God and religion, that as soon as you mention God, or you mention Christ, or you mention, heaven forbid, Jesus, then, people will tell you it brings up a lot of resistance about hearing what's being said at that point, which should be the person's clue that they have some issues. You know what I'm saying? It should be your clue that you can't be a spiritually enlightened being and running away from words. Think about that for a minute. And so I'll find, and it's only spirit and the correct perception of our relationship between us and God that's going to give us the happiness that we're seeking. So it's almost like people attempted to turn their backs on the very thing that will give them what they truly want in their heart. Because if we were already capable of knowing what that was and doing it, it certainly would have already happened, considering how long you've been trying to make yourself happy. Mm-hmm. So the Course says, y'all need to resign. He says, you need to resign as your own teacher. So it says, so one of the vows that I've made to myself is to really stop shying away from that word, even if I use other words that the Course uses. But I need to get past those kind of blocks, because any kind of grievance, the Course says, blocks our miracle. So we're in chapter 6, page 108, the section called The Lessons of the Holy Spirit, the Lessons of Love. And and then always remember, if you want to do a really quick translation of the Course that will take away a lot of the resistance to the words, all you have to know is it's only talking about love or fear. That would be the easy thing. So if it says, be vigilant only for God and God's kingdom, then it's really just saying be vigilant only for love and love's extension. Because the Course in Miracles says the kingdom just means perfect joy. So when someone says the kingdom or the extension of love, so why does it just say extension of love? Well, it does. It says kingdom means extension of love. So it is saying extension of love. But it's also saying it's correcting your perception around those words. And even if you didn't grow up as a Christian, our culture is steeped in all of this. So just by being here, it's touching you in a lot of ways. And the Course in Miracles is channel material that actually purports to be Jesus correcting the distortions around what he taught, as well as teaching us how to release blocks and forgive. It's like, look, if I'm really real, then I still exist. And if I still exist and I'm a part of you and I'm spirit, then I'm here right now and I'm available to you right now. And if you've gotten a lot of misperceptions about me, says Jesus, then this is a great opportunity to forgive me. to be willing to look at me differently so I can be more helpful to you, even though your belief in me isn't necessary for you to be helped. That's what the Course says. It's like, you don't have to believe in me, but I can help you a little bit more if you do. You know, you don't have to believe Earl exists, but couldn't Earl help you a little bit more if you did? Right, right. And I'm never mad at Jesus. I'm mad at what I learned about that term. That's the other thing. You know, it's like, so when I see this and it says, man, I'm going to tell you the way to get out of all the pain and suffering that you're going through. Your biggest problem is going to be the resistance that a part of your mind has against hearing what I'm about to tell you. Because the part of you that crucifies you is used to being in charge and telling you what to do. And you listen to it a lot. How do you know? Because you're not happy and peaceful all the time. Okay? So when I look at this and it goes, we've said before that the Holy Spirit is evaluative. So we could say, we have said before that love is evaluative and must be. So your inner teacher, the Holy Spirit, does what? Sorts out the true from the false in your mind. So our inner guide is going to sort out what's true from what's false in our thinking. And the Course then says it's going to teach you to how to do that. And so now it's going to tell us how to do it. Now, and what's interesting about it is the Course never asks you to do something you can't do now. And we're used to being past and future oriented, right? So we're always thinking about what's going to happen in the future. I'm going to even have the piece that this book is talking about in the future. If I was to really be honest with myself, I don't think that I could be enlightened this afternoon. I don't think I could have total love and bliss for everyone and everything and forgive everybody right now, this afternoon. There's a part of me that thinks I'll be studying and learning how to do this till the day I die. And the Course is saying to us, actually, since peace is internal, then anything that's inside of you, you can have right now. It's only when you want something that's not in you that takes time. The car, the house, the person, the job, all this outside stuff. Now that does take time. But it doesn't take any time for me to be Earl. It would take some time for me to be Jason. Right? I'm just using analogies. Right. How could it be hard for you to be yourself? Your life is hard because you're not being yourself. Mm-hmm. That's why anybody's life is hard. And so the Course is saying you need a part of you that can sort out what's true from what's false. And how do you do that? Well, you judge every thought that you allow to enter your mind. So the Course says, you know something, you like to judge? Okay, here you go. I want you to judge the stupid stuff that you be thinking. I want you to judge the stupid stuff that you're putting in your mind, and I want you to look at it in light of what God put in your mind. So I'm going to look at what's going on in my mind, and I'm going to compare it to what love is putting in my mind. And peace is putting. So I just had a thought. Is this thought making me feel more peaceful? Is this thought making me feel more peaceful? No, it's making me wary. I have some anxiety. I feel contracted. It's a lie. What do you mean it's a lie? The way you're looking at it is a lie. Because whatever it is, if you looked at it correctly, it would not disturb you. So you're telling yourself a lie. You need a part that loves you, that can sort out what's true from what's false. And it says the way you do that is you compare it to the light of what God or what love put there. And then the Course tells you the next stage. What's the next stage? It says whatever is in accord with this light, whatever you're thinking that is in accord with peace and love, then the Holy Spirit, that same part of your mind, keeps it. If I'm thinking something that's cool, Holy Spirit said, we'll keep that one. Then the Course in Miracles says, to do what? I'm going to keep this thought because it strengthens the kingdom in you. It strengthens the love in you. So I want you to keep this thought because it keeps your sense of love. It keeps your sense of abundance. It keeps your sense of happiness. It keeps your sense of connectedness. So you can keep this thought. That's what the Holy Spirit does. The same part of me says, I will let you keep the thoughts that are in alignment with the truth that you're studying. And it says, why? Then you go, well, why do you want me to keep this thought? Because it's going to strengthen the love in you. It's going to strengthen the happiness in you. Keep this thought because it's going to make your butt feel better. I'm just doing paraphrase today. Paraphrase more often. Because I see it like a conversation that Jesus has had with us. And he starts out by saying, you all are nuts. And then you go, what do you mean? He said, y'all are totally insane. Y'all are totally insane. You have learned totally insane things that keep y'all in conflict and fear and anger and guilt, broken in two by times when you go to Disney World. And you really think that's what God wills for you. You really think that God wills for you to be up and down and seeking. So the Course said you need a part of you that can sort out the stuff that you're thinking and keep the thoughts that you're thinking that are loving to strengthen you and to strengthen the love in you. It's right here on the page. Then it says, what's partly in accord with the truth, the Holy Spirit in you will accept and purify. So when I think something is not completely true, well, we'll take it in, but we'll straighten it out. Right? And then it says, but what's out of accord entirely, example, you are sinful, you are guilty, you are bad, you are separate from God. He says stuff like that, the love in you rejects by judging against it. Wait a minute, Earl is the coolest dude around. You just had a thought about him that he didn't deserve love? I'm entirely rejecting that because I'm going to judge. I'm going to judge, but I'm going to judge against any thought that says I don't deserve love. Use your judgment. Judge against every thought you have that says you don't deserve love, to be happy, and to be abundant. But we don't. We go, I'm not enough. Things don't go right for me. I'm suspicious. I don't trust. And the Course is saying, the love in you would utterly reject those kind of thoughts so that it can strengthen you and strengthen the love in you. Okay, what does the Course do? It's giving us the process. Let's go back. It says, first thing I need to let you know is that God judges in the sense that God is evaluative. Your higher self judges. Right. So what does it do? It's going to sort out what you think that's loving and cool and peaceful from what you're thinking that's not going to bring you into happiness. Then what does it do next? It wants you to start judging your thoughts instead of judging people. I want you to start judging your thoughts instead of judging me. And whatever is in accord with love, then I want you to keep that. And anything you think about yourself that's not in accord with love, you're feeling guilty, bad, sinful, then I want you to entirely reject it. He says that's how the Holy Spirit keeps the kingdom, the love, perfectly consistent and perfectly unified. So how do we keep only love and peace in our life and in us? He just told us. The way you do it is you let the Holy Spirit, the love in you, sort out what's true and what's false. And when you think something that's really in line with the truth and love, then that part of you will tell you to keep that thought because it's making you feel peaceful. That's your first clue. If you're having some thought that is not in alignment with what the Course is teaching and what you're studying, it says reject it. Instead of rejecting people and rejecting yourself, you built up your rejection muscle. You got the strongest rejection muscle ever built. You're a rejection Hercules, right? So he said, well, okay, reject guilt. Reject that you don't deserve love. Reject that you're separate. That's what they're saying. Reject your thoughts. The thoughts that don't strengthen you. The thoughts that don't give you peace. That's what it says right here. That's how he keeps the kingdom perfectly consistent and perfectly unified. If I boot out every thought but a loving thought, how my thoughts going to be loving, right? Yeah. So I do have the kingdom being consistent and perfectly unified. This is the Course in Miracles, right here on the page, right here. There's no need to analyze the Course. When you analyze the Course, you're going to give your own definition of it, and you know it's going to be wrong because you haven't read it. Think about that. That's deep. You'd be surprised how many people judge astrology. I say I'm an astrologer or I've done astrology. They'd just be like, I can't believe it. What is it? Tell me what it is. Miss Know-It-All. Just tell me what it is. No, you just have an opinion based on ignorance. And and then a course student, I love it when a course student would say something to me about it, because I know they haven't read it. First of all, that you forgive me, which means you wouldn't be judging me, attacking me anyway,
Right.
if you was a true course student.
Yeah.
And you'd also remember that the Course in Miracles says the Holy Spirit, the Spirit in you, the God in you, can use everything you've made for your salvation, can use everything that's ever happened to you to wake you up, can use every skill that you have to bring you joy.
Yes.
That's what the Course in Miracles says, some good stuff. That's why I don't understand when people go, I can't read it, I don't want to read it, it's too hot. You don't want to hear nonstop that you deserve to be happy and you love forever? That's a red flag as far as
Walk the other way.
I don't think me and you gonna go out, but because you're gonna be a strain on me, because I'm gonna want to compliment you and tell you how wonderful you are, because I'm seeing you with the eyes of love, and you won't love yourself enough to receive it and then think and be suspicious of me and don't trust me. You making me work too hard. I ain't never working that hard no more.
Nope.
For nobody. You don't trust me, then you're not trustworthy. Bye. And you're innocent, and I want peace for you, and I'm giving you to God, because any woman from my past would tell you, you don't need to be given to me. So I'm gonna give you to God. I really like you. You're not gonna be in my care. You know. But now I know exactly how to treat everybody. I don't treat women the same or men. I'm not the same as I was 2 months ago. I've died and been reborn in the last 2 months. I just had a similar body, so you think the same person is sitting in front of you. Just like you. If I look at you in terms of who I knew you years ago, then I don't know who you are now. So that's a thought I've got to reject, because any thought that keeps me looking at you in terms of your past is a thought that's keeping me from knowing who you are right now. So I'm just seeing a fantasy of you that I have in my own mind about who you are. And since I don't even love myself, you know my fantasy about you gonna be screwed. I'm telling you, man, this book is a trip. It's a trip. I've been reading this book 40 years. My family think I'm a slow learner. They wonder what's wrong with me. But I do it because it works. I cannot tell you how many times I have been painted in the corner, did not know what was going to happen in a desperate situation, and I would go to the park, sit down with this book, read what I didn't understand or agree with a lot, and I would watch the whole situation be miraculously cleared up as if by magic. It's happened so many times that you have to be crazy to doubt it. What could be easier than of course, America got all these little sayings, like, say this. Say that. If you're reading it every minute, they go, say this, say that. Say this holy instant what I give to you. Be you in charge, for I would follow you, serve your direction, give me peace. Say this. I give you to the Holy Spirit as part of myself. I know that you will be released unless I want to use you to imprison myself. In the name of my freedom, I choose your release, because I recognize we'll be released together. And I realized it was giving me a bunch of, nothing I see means anything. I realized at one point I was getting incantations.
Yes.
Just like the magical, like when you watch the fantasy movies, and they say, just say abracadabra.
Yep.
And then an elephant would disappear.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's what this is.
Yep.
That's exactly what I found out it was. Because once I let go of the idea that I had to believe the Course in order to reap the benefits that it's promising me, and I would just do what Jesus would tell me to do in the Course, then that's when I started to see the miracles in terms of my perception being changed, or the situation being changed, or both of them. Both of them. So it's really, really important for us to realize that the Course is not trying to hurt you. It's like, sometimes, you approach the truth maybe like it's a chore. Oh my God, I know I need to go to the Course class, but I really much rather be rock climbing, It's like, that ain't the way I look at this at all. It's like, oh my God, I'm going to hear some sanity. I'm going to hear something that makes sense, that gives me some answers like for instance, right here. It says, remember, Mighty Companions online, it says what? Remember. It doesn't say analyze. It says, it doesn't ever say analyze anywhere in this book, but the Course in Miracles students are the most analyzing jokers ever born on earth. Some people don't even want to come to my class because I don't give them enough opportunity to analyze or to give their opinion. But I don't believe all of you all are coming here for any one particular person's in this room opinion. I think y'all coming because you want to hear the course.
Yeah.
You know, and that's who I want to attract. Those are the kind of students that I want to attract. The ones who want to hear the course, not each other. Because all of us saying the same thing, just in different forms. If this were different, I'd be happy. You're going to give me your if this were different. Then I'm going to give you mine if this were different. That's all it is. That's the only problem. We think everything has to be other than how it is. And so the course is saying, remember, he says, remember, however, that what the Holy Spirit rejects, the ego accepts. So what love rejects, fear accepts. So every time you reject a thought of you, let's say, being guilty and not being enough, and the love in you rejects that thought, the fear in you, the part of you that hates you and believes you don't deserve to have, sucks that thought in and go, you know that thought is true. I'm really not enough. Things don't go right for me. So your real self rejected it, but your unreal self went, yeah, things can't go right for me. I'm a black man in America. I'm doomed. Now, would that be what the love would say to me?
No.
Would that be what God would say to me?
No.
Then I'm rejecting that thought. I'm rejecting the thought that my race can determine my happiness. Now, let's tune into Earl's ego. Ego, what you got to say? It's because I'm a black man in America. That's why it's not working. Thank you, ego. Close the door. Get back to you later. Do y'all recognize that part of yourself?
Yeah.
See, that which is deep. Because I didn't know there was a loving part of myself that had done its job. The loving part of me rejected the thought that I didn't deserve love, and because I'm a black man in America, I can't make it. But the part of me that doesn't love me accepted the thought, and so I don't even realize that my higher self blessed me by not even accepting that thought in the first place. Mm-hmm. And so it's just up to me not to listen to what my insane, crazy ego is saying, because it ain't me.
No, it's not.
It's not me. It's the part of my mind that is bought into the idea that I'm sinful and guilty and I'm lacking in some way. That's all the ego is, the false self. And then it's so easy to tell when you're listening to your false self. You know by how you feel. And you no longer believe your happiness is created by anything in the physical world, even though you enjoy it more than you ever have, because now you know your happiness doesn't depend on it, so now you can play with it without fear. And that goes to your relationship too. If I know you can't make me happy and you can't stop me from being happy because I am happy and my happiness comes from within myself, then I can take a chance on you because you can't hurt me. So I don't have to hold back. So I can really give it to you. Yeah, you ready for it? That's another clue. The person should be going,
Yes. Please.
You can tell if a person like you, they come towards you.
I
know this is rocket science stuff. I know this is rocket science. I'm going to take it easy right there. I'm going to go slow out.
Easy. They come towards you.
They come towards you. There's no restraining order. They don't have their pit bull and they hold it like that. You know, so it won't eat you. Okay. We're so crazy. Jesus said, y'all crazy. But it's okay, because even in this world, y'all learn to have mercy on crazy people. You'll even release people from murder if you can prove they're insane. Uh-huh. So even in this world, the thought that somebody's insane, it makes you give them a little bit more latitude and understanding. So it's really a positive thing if we looked at each other as crazy. Yeah. Then we would have more patience with how we act. Well, Earl crazy. Earl don't think he deserves love. Oh, he's just crazy. We know Earl deserves love. He's just nuts right now. Yeah. So we'll reflect love back to him to the point that he knows he's lying to himself because he doesn't have any witnesses to this not being good enough and not deserving it. Yeah. So I can't keep the lie going because nobody in my life is validating my negative thoughts about myself. That's the kind of life I'm in, y'all. I need y'all help. I'm the only one that thinks bad about myself. My kids love me, and we straighten out everything. It's going better than I could have ever imagined, and that's a story in itself. All of my friends cool with me. The ones that's not, they don't come around me. So that's cool. That's lovely. What I hate is the people that don't like me that stick around. That's the cruel ones. The one that go, I can't stand you, girl. You'll never see me again. Thank you. Thank you so much.
They don't like it, but they're checking.
You care. You care. You care so much. You're taking your butt away from me. Oh. But I used to be so crazy. Say, how crazy were you?
How crazy were you?
I would try to get them back.
Yeah.
We all do that.
Have anybody else done that?
Yes.
Anybody, so don't make me feel alone. Come on. So everybody else admit it so we won't feel. See, that's how you do it. You got to feel innocent when you're not the only one. But when you think you're the only one, that's when you feel guilty. That's what guilt is. It's the idea of it's just me alone. I'm
Don't
alone
let
because
that evidence of unworthiness slip away.
that's right. That's right. Exactly. This person is a witness to my unworthiness that I've been building for 70 years almost. So I got to hang on to them to prove I'm right about how pitiful I am. And they'll be right there for you. I was thinking of some more stuff while you were gone. I got 5, 6 more things you didn't do this morning. Come on, I will show you. You screwed up. I've had relationships that we were just pointing out each other's flaws and lacks and attacking each other for it, and then wondering why we didn't like each other. You ain't never saying nothing nice to each other. I wonder why they don't like me. Kind of obvious, you know. How many times you said, I love you, I appreciate you, I think you're the most spectacular thing I've ever seen. Just your energy turns me on. Your body is secondary to who you really are. And that's what I really see, and that's what I'm really responding to. If it really was your body, then I'd just be hanging out in the funeral parlor if that was all I needed to do. So, where that came from? Do I reject that thought? No, actually it's kind of funny. I'll keep it.
The Holy Spirit will purify it.
That's right, Holy Spirit's going to purify it anyway. You're right. He said, if it's partially true, I will take it and we will purify it. What does that mean? This is what's so cool about it. It's always better than we thought. I'm going to get rid of any guilt you feel about that thought. See, that's how you purify thought. It's not about trying to let go of the thought of having sex with the baseball team.
Ouch. That's a lot.
Especially for you. That'd be another lesson in itself, right there. Okay, so Holy Spirit, I woke up this morning, the Holy Spirit said, would you please, because I hear there's a voice now, would you please lighten up?
I accept that.
Just lighten up. I know it's been intense the last few weeks, but just lighten up, you know, because you got to see this as a game.
Yeah.
You got to be a happy learner. You won't be a happy learner when you feel guilty about your thoughts. You have to be able to think any thoughts you want to think without feeling guilty about it. Even those thoughts you think are the worst thoughts, those are the main ones that you need to think without guilt. Because when you think without guilt, it automatically makes you have loving thoughts. So you're not going to misuse anybody when you don't have guilt. You're going to be loving people for the first time. That's what it means to have no guilt. It means nothing's in the way of your joy, your love. It's already in you. It's just blocked. And it's blocked by the beliefs that you have based on your past experiences that are not happening anymore.
Thank you.
So you're trying to escape something that's already gone. How can you not succeed? It's a win-win situation. I guarantee you trying to let go of your past, you're going to succeed. I think you have. You just don't know it. Your past is already gone. So whatever your mama did to you, your daddy did to you, you did it to you, it's gone. That's good news, unless you want to pay somebody back for what you think they did to you, so you keep hanging on to the thought, and then what happens is when you use the power you have right now to think about something that happened in the past, you project that into the future, and then you meet it again, and then you say, I told you it was like that.
Self-fulfilling.
You come up with your old perceptions of men or women, and you use right now to use that old perception. You project that in front of you, and then you see it again, and you think you're right about what happens to you in your pattern in relationships. What's happening in your pattern in relationships is that you're not letting the Holy Spirit sort your thoughts out. And then when the Holy Spirit rejects your negative thoughts about yourself, the part of you that doesn't love you accepts those thoughts. And then you identify with them and you think they're true and you feel bad. Have a nice day.
Yes, we will.
And I spent gas money to hear this. If you don't laugh at it, it sticks around. I had a partner that we lived together for many years, and we were both course students, and we're still tight with each other. And we had one agreement with each other, because we always practiced the course, and that was, I will not tell you what's bothering me unless you agree to laugh at it. If you're going to take it serious, I'll keep it to myself, because that's just making the illusion stronger. I said so, and that's funny, she didn't have a problem with that. It was easy for her to laugh at my stuff. It is always easy to laugh at somebody else's stuff, isn't it? See how smart the Holy Spirit is? Like, what if we made you laughing at somebody's stuff the key to your path to awakening, which is what you do all the time anyway? So we're using that muscle now on top of the rejection muscle. We're using the muscle of, it's easier for me to be spiritual about your stuff. I love it when I'm going through something and everybody's just so spiritual about my stuff. Well, you know, it's an illusion. You have to do this, forget it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you've been coming to my classes for years. Don't you think I've heard that before? I know that. Besides, you're being very calm and peaceful about my problem. I'd be a lot more impressed if I saw you be that way about yours. And I've seen you, you're not. So you're really not spiritual because you're pointing out the way that I should see it. But I'm grateful to you for pointing out the way I should see it, because it's really the way I should see it, even though you can't do it either. It still don't mean you can tell me something helpful even though you couldn't do it yourself.
We're always teaching what we need to learn.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm teaching what I need to learn. So I know that none of us can practice nothing this book is saying.
No.
Completely. None of us. Nobody watching right now or anything. So that means we know we're going to come out of the part of us that's our ego from time to time. So we just need to accept that and forgive each other, because it's going to come up. It's going to happen. It's much easier to be in a relationship where you say, from time to time, I am going to want to kill you. Okay, just want to get you to know that sometimes over toast, I'm going to want to strangle you.
I like how you choose.
Now, my higher self is going to reject that thought. Okay, so it won't want to kill you, but the ego in me, it will accept that thought. So we got to work on the truth so that I will side with the Holy Spirit, my same mind. Did y'all just see that?
Yes.
That's the way it works. That's the way it works. You got the negative, fearful, angry thoughts. There's a part of you that accepts them and it feeds it right back to you. There's another part of you that rejects any thought about you that says you don't deserve to be happy. And the part of you that believes you don't deserve to be happy is going to accept that thought. So you have to side with the thought that you want to see manifest. And that's how you manifest a new reality. You can't keep going into agreement with your ego and think you're going to not see an ego world, a world of fear. And I know just because you think things are going great for you, that don't mean that you've got it yet, because if you can see it anywhere, it's still in your mind. So if you hear about pain and suffering anywhere, it's still in your mind. Just because right now your life seems to be pretty peaceful, Earl. You know, yeah, you get everything, nobody's mad at you, but what about, well, anybody you can think of. Can you think of anybody that's not peaceful? Well, then it means you still have some thoughts in your mind that are less than loving, because it's just your mind. Now, isn't that what you've been reading the whole time? That everything is one with you. Well, if it is, then that means everything you're seeing is in your own mind. So if you see anger, guilt, grievances, attack, war, sickness, anywhere, it's in your mind. I didn't like that because I wanted to believe I had got my stuff together and everybody else, they hadn't yet. Right? But my personal world is pretty nice, so I must have really now be enlightened. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. The faster I own that it's being in my mind, the faster I can get in control of it. See, I can't control thoughts in what appear to be your mind. That's going to be a hard job. But I can control the thoughts in my mind. So if I saw all of this is in my mind, then there would be some ability to have some control with it from your true self. See, I don't need to see you as external to me. I need to see you as internal to my mind. And so I'm looking at myself from the standpoint of my own projections. You are my projections, and you're looking back. That's me looking back at myself. See, I can't see my face. I can just see yours. So your face must really be mine. Because when you look in the mirror, that's what you see. Your face, right? You don't see your own face till you look in the mirror, right? You don't see your own face right now till you look in the mirror, right? So you're not two-faced it, you're a billion-faced it. Billions and billions faced it. Thought we were just two faces down. No, everybody's face is your face. What would happen if I really approached you like you were really me looking like you? That would mean everything you all said to me would be what I was saying to myself through you. And that's what's happening to you all day long. Everybody all day long is using their body to tell you what you think about yourself. So if you're a nice person that's always getting a bunch of crap, then you're not so nice as you think you are. Because you're getting a lot of people saying back to you stuff that's judgmental and cruel. That's you saying that to yourself through them. So what do? You do what it said. You let the same part of you judge which thoughts you're going to give credence to and which thoughts you're going to reject. So if I'm in a real negative world, at first doesn't it look like I'm going to be doing a lot of rejecting all day long? That's why the hardest part is the beginning, because in the beginning, that's when you're most confronted with your own insane thoughts about yourself. So it would look like in the beginning, you'd be a tough job because you have all these people who seem like they see you less than love. And I mean, how many people in your life, when you go meet them or spend time with them, they look at you in your face and say, I love you. I appreciate you. I'm so glad you're here with me. You're a blessing in my life. How many times when you visit your relatives and your friends do you hear statements like that worked into a conversation as opposed to talking about meaningless things that really don't matter anything past a moment's duration? You know, the Course in Miracles says it's got to be meaningless to be valuable here. How do you think a pet rock made it? What could be more meaningless than a pet rock? The guy made millions. Right? Football player can make $500 million. I'm getting upset if a doctor makes $200,000 and he's saving lives. It's got to be meaningless. Kim Kardashian.
Enough said.
No,
We love you, Kim. You're part of me, Kim. You're part of me. You know, one day I'll know you mean so much I can write a check and then I won't get arrested for forgery. Out of your account, come straight to it. You know, if you see everybody as part of you, what circulates through their life circulates through yours. And so the blessings that everybody's receiving will start to come into your life because you don't see yourself as separate from them. So now you're connected. So now the flow can flow through your life. That's why you should feel blessed when anybody is blessed, because when anybody that wins the lottery, if you were not to see yourself as separate from them, some benefit of their wealth would come into your life.
Amen.
Try it. See, these are just ways that there's so many more ways that the Course in Miracles reveals itself than any one person's interpretation of it. That's just bottom line. And so when I look at this book, I'm just seeing so many universal laws. Like he's just running it down. That this is you want to be rich? Then the first thing that you got to do is realize everything you give, you're giving to yourself. Oh, you can't see paying anymore. You don't pay any more bills. You got to see paying as giving because you see paying as loss. Yes. So you had to pay all these bills. Now you don't have any money. So you think of paying as loss. And what I want you to do, I want you to see paying as giving. So what did I do? I added up all of my expenses and overhead and all that kind of stuff. And what that sum of money was, I said, this is how much I'm giving every month. And he said, what that would do is kick in the law of giving and receiving. And I went, oh, okay. So I would just say it because he'd already told me, the book has already said, you don't have to believe it because if you already believed it, I wouldn't be teaching you. Yeah. So you got to let go of the idea you got to believe. That's slowing you down, okay? So I just want you to say this. You just heard me say paying is giving, giving and receiving is the same. So just start saying that. I write it on my check when I used to do checks. Paying is giving, paying is giving. Paying. And I'd be damn if I wouldn't see some type of blessing or it come back to me in a way I wouldn't have even imagined. I could not be doing the Course in Miracles full time for 30 years unless God was taking care of me.
You would have failed.
I'm the living proof God exists, y'all. I don't have turnaway crowds. It's not like I got a bunch of millionaires that shoot me out money. Right? I don't never know when I'm going to see you. Right? Let's be honest. I don't never know when I'm going to see you. So I can't single out any particular person and say, oh, that person right there, they good for about 200. Yeah, I can't look at people that way. I can't look at things that way because if I did, it wouldn't be fun. I'd be afraid all the time. How am I going to pay my bill? You know what I'm saying? And it's like the Course said, if you fulfill your function, you will be okay, big time. If you fulfill your function. What's my function? Your function is to learn how to be happy here. And by following my instructions so that people know when they listen to the truth, this cool thing is going to happen to them. You have to be a living demonstration of the good that come to you when you are into God and truth. Yes. But you don't know how to do it. You don't know how to do it. What you do is you try to make everybody serve you and you call it your treasure map. So that's a thought that you got to let go of. You have to sort out that thought that the world was made for everybody to serve you in order to make you happy. Because that's what you're trying to use people for, really. When you assign roles to them in terms of what they're supposed to do to make you happy. You're trying to make everybody serve you, and they don't. They always do something that disobeyed you in some way. Then you get mad, and you have a grievance, and so you walk around angry all the time. And he says, and since your consciousness creates your reality, and you are angry, you attract attacks and disease and sickness and bum relationships and no money. And all those things are coming from your inner anger at everybody for not serving you by being the way you think they should be to make you happy. Because that's the only way anybody betrays you. All betrayal mean is you didn't do the role I assigned to you to make me happy. You betrayed me. And I've assigned the role that you don't do this or you do that and you didn't do it, so you betrayed me. You did not serve me. And I was like going, dog, I wish I hadn't asked that question, whatever that question was, because I got an answer. And some of y'all might have just zoned out while I was saying that. Just completely, the boy is moving his lips, but I don't understand one single thing he is saying. And the correct way to say it would be, I don't want to understand a single thing he's saying. I don't want to hear it. So when he's talking, I go, I don't understand. So every time you're ready to say, I don't understand, say, I don't want to hear it. You'll be telling the truth. Because there's nothing that I've said that you couldn't do today. There's not one single thing that I've said that you can't do. You couldn't do that, and me either. So when I say that, so it says here, It says, the part of you that loves you and the part of you that doesn't are in fundamental disagreement about everything. Because the part of you that loves you and the part of you that doesn't is in fundamental disagreement about what you are. So I love you, but I think you don't deserve love. And the Holy Spirit says, I love you and I think you deserve love. So the court says, we're in fundamental disagreement about what you are. I say you're a good person and you say you're not. You and I are in fundamental disagreement about what you are. And so the court says, the ego's beliefs are very crucial. It's a very crucial issue. And that's why the ego produces different moods. So if I don't love myself, my ego's beliefs about what I am it varies all the time. 1 minute Earl is a good guy. 1 minute Earl is not such a good guy. 1 minute Earl is a smart guy. 1 minute Earl. See, my ego's judgments about me are always varying. And the court says that's why your ego promotes different moods. People go through different moods. Why do people go through different moods? People go through different moods because they have constantly changing interpretations of who they are. If I think I'm a cool person, my mood's going to be nice. If I'm thinking right now that I'm not so cool, see, my ego makes me moody because I'm always changing my mind about myself. So when you're around moody people, go, oh my God, they're having constantly changing interpretations of themselves. And that would be so empowering to change your life.
Right.
And then you go, well, that's the answer to me not being moody. I need to have more consistent ideas about myself. Then I won't be a moody person. Yeah. I live with a Taurus, and they never change. And it's a good thing if they got into something loving like the course, which is what happened to me. Because then they're fixed in it. And nobody can get them out of it, especially if it's the truth, because Taurus is kind of lazy. They want to just chill. There's a core with Taurus that just wants to keep it simple, keep it real, keep it consistent, and then they are the manifestors of the zodiac, the physical, material, money, physical stuff, manifestors. And so what's so powerful about it is that once they start to see the benefits of something and they don't like to change anyway, then they just go deeper into it. Because you see what I'm saying? It's like, oh, this is making things better for me, and I really don't like to do a whole lot. And the more I do this, the easier things get. I'm gonna keep moving in that direction. You see, but then if they get into their fear, their ego self, and they get into that thought system, they can be as adamant about being right. That's, you know what I'm saying? So all of us have that Taurus energy. And so it's really interesting to realize that what we're looking for is something that's consistent and dependable that we can always depend on. See, that's what I meant when I said I'm very thankful to you and I'm thankful to everything you share with me. But I can love you more if I believe all things come from God and you allowing yourself to bless yourself as well as me if you choose to share or not. You know what I mean? That's the way I have to look at it if I want to have a good time doing what I'm doing. Because I see a lot of people who are self-employed that are in terror all the time. They can't even enjoy their life. They're so busy hustling. Yeah, I could do 900 workshops a year, but I'd study the book so I wouldn't have to. No, it's like I want to do less and less and less and less. And let the universe and God and spirit do more and more and more through me. I don't want to do any more of the heavy lifting. I want to let go of the heavy lifting and be a channel for love. You know, because I know there's nothing out there that's going to make me happy because I was cursed with having everything I wanted and still not being happy. So people can't sell me on that one, that there's something in the physical world that you're going to get that's going to make you happy because your own experience validates that's not true. You know that I'm not talking anything theoretical. You've never had anything that satisfied you so completely you never wanted anything else at all. You wouldn't be here. So I'm so glad to at least be at the point in my spiritual development that I'm not chasing the carrot. Even if I'm still like the carrot and I'm still salivating at the carrot I'll never reach. You know, like the dog race. They're running after a rabbit they can't ever reach. And that's what we'll do. That's what we're doing. We just, oh, it's the next thing out here that's going to get it. Oh, it's the next thing out here that's going to get it. Oh, it's the next thing out here that's going to get it. And even when you get it, you're not satisfied. Let alone not getting it. I get it and still wouldn't be satisfied. And I thought I was a slacker if I didn't immediately want to get something else. That meant I was unambitious. Right? It meant I didn't have drive. How dare me think I could actually be satisfied with what I have and appreciate what's available to me right now and love who's loving me and being devoted to who's devoted to me and touching who's touching me, communicating with who. Oh my God, I would have fulfillment. Yes. Which my ego doesn't think I deserve. And I've been siding with it by choosing people who don't really love me. Now I'm siding with the part of me that believes I deserve it, and it's so much better because now I want what I can have.
Easy.
Wow, that's so much easier. And then all the rest of the stuff that you used to drive yourself crazy trying to get, it just starts to show up on its own. So you don't lose anything, just like it promised.
Yeah.
But you look just like you always look. You dress just like you've always dressed. You drive the car you've always driven. You come into the church you've already come into. You wear the clothes you've already. Because when you begin to truly wake up, you look ordinary. The most enlightened beings you will ever meet on this planet, you pass by every day in King Super or, Whole Foods.
Nice comparison.
Because the more you wake up, the more you blend in. Because you're more effective, almost like a secret agent.
Yeah. That's true.
It says here, the ego's beliefs on this crucial issue vary, and that's why it promotes different moods. The Holy Spirit, the love in you never varies on this point. What point? Your value. I love you and I will always see you as valuable no matter what. I love when I get to the point in a relationship with somebody that I want them in my life so much, I'll never let them go no matter what they do. And that doesn't mean trying to limit them in any way. It means I am not going to stop loving you. I love feeling that way about people now more and more. Because all your fear of loss leaves. If I know I'm in a relationship with you and you're going to love me no matter what, even if we have to change the form of our relationship sometimes, then that's going to decrease my fear. And if my fear is decreased, I'm going to be more loving. And I'm going to be more appreciating. You're going to like me a whole lot more. You only deserve love. I'm the Holy Spirit. My belief about that will never vary. That's what it just told us. And so, since I'm never going to doubt that you deserve to be loved, then the one mood I'm going to cause is joy. I'm going to take care of your mood, baby. I'm just going to cause you joy. Yeah. So you'll stay in a joyful mood. Yeah. Why? Because I'm never going to change my mind about how beautiful I believe you are.
That's what's up.
So we're only going to have one mood. You're going to be joyful to be around me. Because I'm never going to change my mind about how much happiness you deserve, how much freedom you deserve, and how much innocence you deserve. This is the way you're going to be talking to people that you care about one day. That's why it's so hard for us to remember it, because we never said it.
That makes sense.
And on any kind of regular basis, I know there's always exception. You didn't see me this morning, I said it. Okay, all right, I know you. I know you out there. Y'all always out there. The one exception. What do you mean? I do that just this morning, right before I smacked them. Have you ever been hit by somebody that said they love you? I have.
Don't you know?
They called it spanking when I was growing up. They said, you're going to get a spanking. I'm going to hit you. But I love you. Then you wonder why you get such screwed up relationships. And I'm looking for you to attack me in some way, to be cruel with me in some way. That's what I associate love with.
Yeah.
So with you being all nice, I ain't interested in you. Because you are not giving me love the way that I learned it.
Yes, in the past.
So you're being kind, I'm not attracted to you. The bad boy.
Oh, yeah, you get some other love.
You sound like a person who knows that some personal experience and stuff. You said the bad boy gets on. You like into this bad boy gets on the nerve. Need to be the name of a TV show. I'm going to the last sentence. I'm gonna let y'all out of here in a minute. I'm just, okay. But see, I love this stuff. I love this stuff. I never get tired of it. You know, when most people be ready to pass out, I'm just getting more. It's like, if I hear one more word, I gotta go. Okay. How does the Holy Spirit protect? The ego takes over my mouth sometimes. I can go to you and not say another word, black man. Something my ego call me. Y'all call me black man. See, my nickname is Maine. That's what my family called me because my mama called me Mama's Little Maine when I was growing up. I'm from the South. And so all my brothers and sisters call me Maine. And my nieces and nephews call me Uncle Maine. Just a trip, they're walking, hey, Uncle Maine. And they call my son Little Maine. So there was something about me wanting to be a man that I'm working on. So the chord, sometimes I say something, I swear I don't know what I don't know why. I'm channeling y'all. I don't always know. Because I see the simplicity of the course now. So I'm gonna be a much better course teacher. That's because the ego likes to make this complicated. Like somebody telling you, okay, you're moody. Why? Because you have constantly changing interpretations of who you are.
Right.
Makes total sense.
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to keep you joyful. How? I'm going to reject everything that would make you think you don't deserve to be loved. So that's going to make you just feel joy all the time. And I'm going to protect your joy by rejecting everything that doesn't cause you joy. Reject everything that doesn't. Well, what about if your joy is, balling up little children and throwing them off a cliff? It's like that wouldn't be what the love in you would tell you to do. Nobody should have to tell you that throwing little kids off a cliff would not truly make you happy. And even if it did, then you got serious issues that are going to be dealt with. So try not to go to the extreme other end of it. Like the Course in Miracles is saying to us, start rejecting the things in your life that do not give you peace. And only the love in you can keep you totally joyous. The last part of it is only the love in you, the truth in you, the God in you can keep you happy. So now I've come full circle. Now I believe that my happiness comes from my relationship with my Creator. And that my Creator is going to use all of my relationships and everything to bring me joy and to give joy to other people. So therefore, I can totally enjoy this experience to the fullest and stay awake. Because if everything in my world is being used to foster joy, then I'm not going to forget my happiness. Thank you very much. You acknowledge yourself, please, for hanging in there. Fill it out the meals. And if I said anything that made you contract, really pay attention to whatever that was. If it's something I said that kind of got next to you, you really want to pay attention to what it was that your ego just accepted. So thank you for sharing with me. Thank you for sharing with Unity Temple. Thank you. Those of you online, if you'd like to make a donation or financial expression of appreciation, just go to my website, earlpurdy.com, earlpurdy.com. And it is okay for you to do what you love. You can be provided for, taken care of wonderfully, doing what you're here to do, fulfilling your function. Your function is to be the light of the world. That means your function is to be the truth in the world. A living embodiment of the stuff we're studying. That's why you're in the world. And if you will fulfill that function, the Course says you will be given what you need to stay. There'll be people that will be sent to you to give you what you need, and there'll be people sent to you to show you how much you need forgiveness.
Yes.
But you, the course in the latter part of it says the Holy Spirit knows you think you have needs while you're here, and that the Holy Spirit will provide your needs, provided one little caveat, which is what? You can't use what I'm giving you to still stay in ignorance and separation and in fear. That I'm not going to give you that car if you're going to use the car to take you further away from the truth, and the car becomes your God. You see what I'm saying? Anything that I would use to keep me from practicing the truth is my idol. Anything I put before my peace is my idol. Anything you put before your peace is your idol. Anything you put before your peace is your idol. Anything that's more important to you than your peace, and you keep giving your peace away forward, that's your idol. And you'll weep. He says you'll weep every time one of your idols fall, which is deep. So, woo! I love this stuff. I love this stuff. So go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and I would love to do a clarity session with you. I'd love to take a look at your astrology chart with you too, so that I can tell you a bunch of stuff that would blow your mind and be extremely helpful for those of you who feel led to do that. So what was one thing y'all heard today that really had an impact on you? Anybody?
Paying is giving.
Paying is giving. So right now, you didn't pay me anything. You gave. And giving and receiving is the same. So it's impossible to lose what you give.
One of the things that I've been observing with the two parts of myself, the loving part of my mind that already rejects those thoughts, and then the insane part of my mind that then accepts them, is that sometimes when I'm changing my mind by like studying a course, what I find is that I almost become more aware of that other voice, because I used to just live in it all the time and not think it was separate from myself. And so I've been learning to like value that experience, even though at first it becomes irritating, because it's like there's a part of me who knows who I am that's pissed off at the part of me that says all the other things that it says. Right? And to actually be grateful that the loving part of me doesn't want to believe that anymore.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Trudy.
Well, it went like this. It said that I'm in the middle of the heavy stuff. You need to just remember, not a little bit of the time like now, or even most of the time, but every time I hear this weird stuff coming from ego, I have to remember to lighten it up.
Lighten it up.
Lighten it because
up.
that, when I do it, and I feel like I do it a lot, but I'm sure it's just a little. And there you go, there's how ego speaks.
That's right. When interesting, but you caught yourself. That's a miracle.
Well, and when that miracle happens, or when it doesn't, or if it's today, or if it's tomorrow, I could have lightened up, then it doesn't matter, because it's a miracle whenever it is, because there's no time and no space with God.
so we can have it all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, because exactly. And you don't even have to understand what you just said. Just agree with it. Okay, I'm gonna give you the shortcut. It was good. It was good. Our understanding is not a powerful contribution to the truth.
No.
That saved me so much time when I began to hear that from the course. Man, you think your understanding is a powerful contribution to something? It isn't. Your understanding doesn't make things work.
Or better.
You know, that iPhone's working. I don't understand nothing about why it really works, but it's working. I just have to know how to operate it, right? And that's what the course is trying to tell us. You don't have to understand. You just need to know how things operate, and they don't operate the way you believe they operate. And that should be obvious to you because you don't have one mood that just engenders joy. You go through various moods. You still side with thoughts about yourself that are not completely loving. So you need to have the Holy Spirit in you sort out your thinking, because the love in you, your true self, will keep the thoughts that strengthen you and keep you blessed and joyful. And it's going to always reject every thought about you that's not loving. But you need to be aware that there's another part of your mind that's going to believe all those negative, fearful things about you and then tell you it's you. And so you have to choose between which voice you're going to listen to and side with. And then you study the course so you can see the script of what you should say to yourself in order to allow that joining with the Holy Spirit, your sane mind, to happen. And that's what I meant when I said that earlier about the incantation thing. If it's the truth, your willingness to say it is a sign of your little willingness to have it happen. Yes. Spirit is just wanting to see a little bit of willingness. So for you to say this stuff and remember this stuff, even if you don't believe this stuff, is all that's required, because your higher self says all I want is a little bit of willingness, which you are showing just by looking at this. Mm-hmm. See, it's so loving that it's beyond my comprehension. Thank you. That was kind of the old stereotype, wasn't it? So I know I still got to work on it. I'm kind of scared to go out the door now. Little lightning cow. Because sometimes my ego says, suppose you're wrong. Suppose there is a hell. That's why you're so scared of it. Because you think you're going. It wouldn't be an issue. You didn't think you were so bad. So you already know what you think about yourself, but you didn't think you could go to hell. Enough to even give it any kind of validity. It was like, oh man, that's where the inner voice talks to me now. I'm like, oh man, that's so true. That's so true. Side with your sane man is the same as saying, I'm going to be vigilant for God and God's kingdom. That's all it means, y'all. So let's acknowledge us. Y'all awesome for hanging in here today. My mighty companions online, thank you for checking this out today. And you're a blessing in my life. And let's have a clarity session. Go to my website and tell you all about it.